the man with the Rapaport rapport, Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get on. No choice to get on. A mandate. Get it on. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for telling a friend. We love that about you, right, Gina Grad?
That's right.
Handball, Brian. Come on, let's fuck our friend's husbands. Wow, a big night of comedy last night at the Hollywood Improv.
Tell us everything.
Everyone was real funny. I think it's definitely, I guess we could take comedians and break them into probably one of two categories. Some comedians...
Funny?
Yeah, well...
That's all that matters.
I noticed it when I do morning radio. And sometimes we'd have a black comedian in who didn't listen to classic rock or whatever. He listened to another radio station, and I feel like he didn't feel like this audience was his audience. He didn't have his friends listening. It's sort of how people do when they do an Australian talk show. And so some people have, comedians, performers, have a sort of mentality of like, if I don't really need it, or no one I know is listening, or, the room is half full, why really burn those calories? I don't know that it's a conscious decision.
They haven't made the John Force turn from who the fuck is this guy and why am I doing this to, hey, you're a funny shit.
Yeah, John Force.
It really illustrated very well in that one exchange.
Yeah.
He didn't give a shit about any show until he got here.
Right. And so...
That was pretty funny.
Then there are guys like, Seinfeld and Leno, and they just show up and they have one mode.
Yeah, they do their show.
Professional mode. And then others are like, the place is half full. None of the other comics on the bill I've heard of. Like, what am I out here peddling this unicycle for? But, of course, last night was a full house. And, you're going on between Leno and Fluffy. You gotta bring it, man. And so everyone brought it, which is kind of a sign of a very seasoned professional, because when amateurs attempt to bring it either through comedy or sexually, it gets worse. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like they try harder. And it ends up not working. When guys are really seasoned try harder, they just fall back on this wealth of experience, So Leno went up first, which was not the plan, but Rob Schneider was getting high with Bill Maher and
still
running a little bit late. So Leno, I just saw him. He's such the on brand, pulled up in a big old classic Indian motorcycle, just Indians of make.
Mm-hmm. Did you do a documentary about that? Or Chassie asked something about that, right?
Yes, we did. Yeah. We did. Thank you. He comes pulling up on the big old Indian bike, just parks it right in the thing, gets off it, and essentially just walks out on stage. Nails it.
Full denim? He's on a bike.
No, when he performs, he wears like a blazer and slacks, and
rode his bike?
A denim blazer.
Wears a suit. He wears a suit when he performs.
Power move.
Doesn't do his hair, but he wears his suit, puts on the leather jacket and the helmet, and just rides over from the shop, comes rolling in.
I like it.
Does his thing, everyone thanked him, and I talked to him in the hall for a minute, and he rolled right out.
Like Batman.
Well, his thing is always like, he'll do anything, but he's always like, I'm going to get up there. And I'm like, just go up and do it.
That's a question that I have, and I don't want this to come off as snide or insulting. Why does Leno do it? At this point, he's so rich. He must be getting a few $100.
He must love it. Yeah. Ask the Comedy and Magic Club.
I know he's your friend. Is it a favor to you? Is that explicit, or is it just loves the game? He would show up to a pickup game if he was retired from the NBA and for 10 years.
Most I'd say the comedians that were there, but I think it's a combination. I think Jay does comedy for the sake of comedy. He also realizes, like the athlete that you'd mentioned, you never really officially retire from doing stand up. You get retired. Sure. You get retired. Some people get retired in their 40s, their 50s. He's 70, 71. He doesn't want to get retired, so he has to go scrimmage all the time. He has to stay in shape all the time. So I think there's a he does it. He loves it. He's also he's always had his head in the right place with it, which is he goes, man, just go up there. I tell jokes. I go home. He understates everything, which is, if you think about it, think about how ineffective people are who overstate. Like, oh, I'm overwhelmed. First the kids want to ride to the corner, and now the Grubhub guy's late. Like, oh, what a day. The people...
It's only noon.
Yes, the people that get a lot more done in life tend to just like, we just do it. It's not no big deal.
There was a study done years ago. People with pessimistic attitudes actually get more done because they're, I guess the attitude is like, oh, this is so much to do here. How can one guy do it? Oh, well, might as well dig in.
Oh, pessimistic attitude.
You think optimistic.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a better life. It was just they got more done.
Well, Jay's an optimist, as far as I can tell, who
cockeyed pessimist
just shows up. Now, he showed up for me. I don't know, if how many others could call him and get him just to come on out. But he also works out, and that's what he does. So he just showed up, nailed it. And then, let's see, there's a picture of Jay up on stage wearing a suit. Mm-hmm. And he likes it, too. Like, he likes the crowd. He likes the applause. It's not gotten old to him. It's not burnt out on him.
Jeff fun with it and say, here's your opener, Jay Leno.
Jay Leno. Yeah, well, again, Rob is going to start. But anyway, then also Jay Mohr. I thought Jay may have stolen the show. He was.
That surprises me not at all. Can I tell you how many times I've listened back to his appearance the other day?
Yeah, he's a truly funny, talented guy. So he brought it. He was super funny. Rob Schneider was super funny. Fluffy, Gabriel Iglesias brought it, and then I just closed it out. But
and Sarah Silverman, right?
Oh, shit.
And Patton Oswalt?
Patton could not make it. We knew a few days ahead of time, and Sarah Silverman went up there and nailed it, too.
Chris posted a picture of her, like, laying on the piano. It was very...
Yes.
Very funny.
Very...
Like a Fabulous Baker Boy situation?
No, kinda. Yeah.
She was fantastic. Everyone was really good. The audience hung in the entire time. I think they knew what they were getting. And it'll be one of those things where if you're 25 in the audience, you'll tell those stories 40 years from now when we're all dead that I went out on a Wednesday night and guess who was there? Jay Leno. Jay would have died in a steam car accident 5 years earlier.
You mean in 1905?
That's right. But it was a great night, and the audience hung in, and we went long. I mean, we started right at 8, and I was on stage at, 10:15 or something. We're supposed to cut it a little earlier, but everyone was sweet. Everyone supported each other.
Going to do it again?
Yeah. It was a treat for me because normally you get in, you do your set, then you sort of get out. I, just by virtue of the fact that I put it on, was sort of forced to hang and watch everybody. And you get to see, when you see Rob Schneider and you see Gabe Iglesias and Sarah Silverman, you see these and Jay Leno, you see these totally different approaches to comedy, all ending up in the same place, all with big laughs, but just totally different postures and approaches and takes on things. And it was really interesting. And it was like watching an MMA event where this guy was a boxer, he's a striker, and that guy's a college wrestler, and this guy's a judo guy, and this guy's a grappler, like all your different techniques and styles up on stage.
But at the end of the day, it is so goddamn refreshing to not have this be like a night of stars to fund the DNC.
Mm-hmm.
This is just comedy for the sake of comedy, people coming at it from politics. Maybe we talk about it, maybe we don't, but everybody's here to laugh.
Yeah, and the audience laughed. Sarah is very progressive and hit some abortion stuff and then got big laughs. Rob Schneider approached it from
a different
point of view and got big laughs. Like everyone was just there. It was a real example of how life, comedy, relationships are supposed to work. Everyone just showed up, laughed, and everyone...
How life can be once again. If we allow it.
But Fluffy was doing his thing, and Jay was talking about being in rehab. Jay Mohr, that is. Sorry.
Do tell.
Mohr was being in, and Jay Leno was just telling jokes,
About Jay Mohr being in rehab?
Yeah, and it was just...
really fucked up his act.
Everyone laughed. I didn't know, these people are here to see Fluffy, and then are they not going to be laughing at Sarah Silverman? Are they here for Sarah Silverman and not going to laugh at Fluffy? They all just laughed equally.
It's a good example of we literally are in a studio every day just talking to each other and thinking about ideas and stuff and hashing them out together. And to get a real world example of, no, people mainly just want to laugh together.
Yeah.
Didn't that feel... confirm your hopes.
I couldn't even tell. Chris, could you tell if the audience leaned any direction? I mean, they were laughing at some conservative shit I said they were laughing hard at. They were laughing hard at Sarah and sort of pro-abortion stuff.
I couldn't tell, and that's kind of what made it so magical.
Yeah.
It was just as Adam said, Sarah went up second and did her thing, and then Rob went up fourth. And then started digging in. Now he went in a direction I didn't think he was going to go for it, but he started going, talking about the mask stuff and leaving California, and got huge laughs there too. So it was, I think that's what made the night so special. Was just you couldn't tell. It was just all it was about was just the comedy.
Why did Chris get to go?
Yeah.
I snuck in.
He first off, he doesn't take up as much space.
Like Bugs Bunny.
It does look like he took those pictures from the scaffolding.
He was up in the green room up top, the crow's nest. Sarah got there, and her and I had a chance to hang back and get caught up while Leno was up on stage. And she showed me a picture. I don't know why you were talking about the kids or something. I was telling her about a story or something, and then she goes, "Oh, the kids!" And she showed me, I don't know, her phone. What was it? It was.
It's like the icon you get when you call somebody.
Oh wow, the profile picture, or whatever.
The avatar or whatever.
Yeah,
it's her crying with a baby crying.
That's Sonny.
What?
Oh, that's Santino.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
That's very funny.
She was holding Sonny when Sonny was 1.
Wait, that's on her phone?
That's on her phone.
Oh my God, that's great.
It's a great picture of Sonny making this grimacing, I don't know what he is.
Help me face.
It was 1.5, like, and of course Sarah makes the exact same face. And then I looked at it, made me laugh. I immediately sent it to Sonny from the green room.
Didn't move the needle.
Don't say who's she, please.
Sonny was like, "Is that me?" He didn't know. He didn't know it was him.
You recognize Sarah?
Yeah.
He's in a comedy?
Yeah. It's a crazy,
wow.
It's a funny picture. Anyway.
Did she say anything? She has a full fucking musical being staged? Her book is a musical, Bedwetter the Musical, in New York.
No.
She's amazing to me. I love her dearly.
Yeah.
People come up to us and say, I feel like I know you. I feel that way with her. I've never met her. I feel like I know her. She's just so iconic to me. And she has a fucking Broadway musical in the works.
When's it coming out?
I don't know. I will find. I know it's just been cast, and I know they're in rehearsal. I've been kind of following along. And it's her story. It's called
David
Bedwetter.
Allen Greer as Sarah Silverman.
Right.
Wow.
And there's girls playing her at different stages. There's a little girl, there's a teenager, there's an adult. Yeah.
Well, we're both bedwetters, so we got that.
Well, you should go to the show.
We got that in common, and we'll figure out when that's coming out.
Yeah.
She was a delight. She's hung. We got to hang for about a half hour.
She introduced Adam to the guy who started the roast battles.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and Adam's like, "Oh, so you're a chef?" And
I said
all night
you do the
was just-
cooking show, right?
Yeah.
Roast battles, obviously.
Pub roast, yeah.
Roast wars.
I love those competition cooking shows. And all night
Is
I
it
just
roast?
kept with him. And Sarah was getting disgusted after. She was getting tired of it. And I was like, "What? In your opinion, you're an expert. A purple beet or a golden beet? Which one is better? Because to me they taste the same." And Sarah was like, "Oh, we get it.
Right.
We get it." But he was having fun with it, right?
Yeah, we all were laughing.
He started,
It was really funny.
he started roast battles, which would make a decent show
it
on the
Delicious.
Cooking Network.
Sure.
So it was a good night.
Out
and
comes the pork loin.
Everyone was
Rotisserie chicken.
Everyone was fun and funny, and the audience hung in. And I thought by the time I got out there, we're 2 hours in. I was like, all right, well, all the good people have gone. They're going to be ready to go. But they hung in. They hung with me, and they laughed, and they had a good time. We're going to do another one September 7th. So I'll
Brian, put it on your calendar. We're not getting bumped this time.
Can't wait to not get there.
see who I can drum up for this thing. All right. We also have we have a staff poll.
Oh, we need Brian.
Oh,
We need
what
Brian.
was it? Here,
All right.
I know nothing of this. I'll come into it clean.
Right. All right. So here's the question that was posed. A person, a man that started off as a biological man who has surgically transitioned,
Okay. Made the commitment.
made the commitment, and is now a woman. And we've seen many examples of very beautiful women who started off as men, but they
yeah.
got the surgery and they got everything. So,
The Brazilians got it down.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So you picture a 10 in that department, the best example of the transition
Okay.
male to female. That person, now you go to the other side of the ledger to the biological woman.
Okay.
Now, if you asked most guys, if you asked all guys, really, honestly, statistically, would you rather have the 10 biological born a 10 Giselle Bundchen or the Brazilian who switched over? They go,
You're saying biblically.
yeah,
Yeah.
I biblically have sex with. I'll take the one who was born a woman.
Stick with what you know.
Okay. Now the question is then how far down in numbers do you
shit.
go before you
make the
slide
switch.
over to the 10 who was a dude,
But a 10.
but a 10?
9.
Really?
No.
I would love that.
Oh wow, that's a quandary. Fuck. I think you're below the Mendoza line at 5, and you got to start considering.
You got to start thinking at
Yeah.
5. All right. We
Yeah.
did a staff poll. A lot of variation in that poll. I don't know why I always look forward to Dawson's answers the best because he likes to work variables in. Like, can I be eating?
I was going to say, if I somehow don't know that the 10 was a man, I might just be in.
You will know.
Okay.
You will know, but no one else. It
Oh.
will not be held against you from a societal standpoint.
That's
Only
important.
you and
That's
only you
important.
will
You and
know.
your God.
All right.
All
What
right,
do we
just a
got?
reminder, I was like a 3 or I was a 4. I'll just say 4.
Chris is
Yeah.
very enlightened.
Mhm. It's a cultural thing.
Yeah. Okay. Vito is a 5.
Okay.
Emmy is a 5. And this took him a while because he says uglier girls F better.
Good.
I hear that again.
He should do greeting cards. Yeah.
Let's see. Gary he says he will never switch.
Oh, God.
Never.
come on.
But never.
Where's your sense of adventure, boy?
Never switching means I broke down my League of
Oh,
Skanks.
good, because we needed a League of Skanks.
video. Legion, I'm sorry,
Oh.
of Skanks. We were trying to work out, like, well, who is a 1 and
Yeah,
who is a
right.
10?
We
And
needed to
had
know.
Gal Gadot at 10. But Honey Boo Boo's mom is the 1.
Oh, what's her name? Thumbkin or
I don't
Mama
know. But
June.
Mama June?
Gary,
Oh, wow.
you got to have sex with Mama June.
This is a terrible list to have her at number 1, in my opinion, because she's gotten gastric bypass and isn't attractive, but she is way better than me having to sleep with somebody who was formerly a man. And
Gary.
I'm coming at this from a practical point of view,
Mm-hmm.
where I don't want to deal with the other ramifications that come with the person who has made the decision to make such
Like
a drastic
what?
change.
You know, you don't want to deal with. What if you like it just a little bit
Yeah,
too much?
that's right.
That too.
And
That's
then
right.
you get fucking hooked.
That's right.
Yes, and.
And
You know,
my
they-
husband won't use my bidet because he's worried that it's going to be, quote, too delightful.
Yes, like they say in those 70s movies, you know, once the bear gets a taste for human
blood.
That's
blood,
right. Yeah.
he can no longer forage for berries.
Keep me satiated.
I don't mean to name call, but Gary, your Orange County's showing.
Have we? Oh wow, that's hurtful. Have we gone?
All
over-
right, well
is this
let's
the-
Thank you.
We got Rosie O'Donnell as a 2. We're trying to
Yeah.
we're trying to establish what a 10 is, what a 5 is, what a 2 is.
I missed yesterday's show. Has this list been established?
No.
Okay, so
Brand new.
You got it on the list.
It's brand new, and I didn't want to. It adulterates the experiment a little bit because
like the specifics of number 7.
number 7 is Lisa Kudrow, season 1 of Friends. But and below her is Kat Denning, who's a 6, but I happen to like Kat Denning more.
Yeah, you think she's super attractive.
I do. I couldn't convince
most
the
people.
kangaroo court.
Interesting.
That
this is 4 guys figuring
four
this
guys
out.
yelling at me.
I see. Okay.
And
Honestly,
Kat
looking at
Denning
this
put a
li-
couple of pounds on
have to
and
look
maybe
at all.
wasn't what she was in the 40-year-old virgin. But
Looking at this list, I'm tossing the coin at number 3.
you're going with number 3,
No,
Lizzo?
3 is like where I'm like, all right, now we're dealing with one of the other.
Well,
which-
let's go through the list for people that
Go
aren't
ahead.
here. So, number 1, Honey Boo Boo's mom,
it's A1.
Who is a 1?
who is A1. Number 2, Rosie O'Donnell.
Stop saying number.
3, okay, Lizzo.
Is a 3.
Is a 3?
Juliette Lewis now. Jesus Christ.
I'm all right with that.
Is a 4.
I'm all right with that.
Rosie Perez now.
Fuck yeah.
Kat Denning. Lisa Kudrow, season 1 Friends is a 7. Halsey is an 8. Megan Fox is a 9. Who could be better than Megan Fox? Gal Gadot is a 10.
Yes.
There you go.
All right. So
3 is where I really have to make some decisions, not just about myself, but how I feel about the world.
I'd probably, looking at this list,
Because I liked where
wanna
you were yesterday.
I might stop at Kat Denning.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when we initially did this, Brian, he said below 7.
Oh,
You start considering your options. And I like that.
Yeah, but below 7 could still mean 4. I mean, I have to think about it. I don't know why you're so
Somewhere below
invested on me banging trannies, but all right. Everyone's got to have a dream. I'd like to see my children educated. But all right. You got your own motivation.
I do.
I want to hear the rest of the scores.
Yes,
Yeah.
me too.
Well, the only one left is Dawson. Oh, no, there's 2. Dawson is a never switcher.
I knew it.
Really?
Even Rosie.
I do have some questions.
He's a never switcher.
Now, is there contact
Well,
with the male parts?
there's no male parts.
So this is a fully surgically
transitioned.
done.
Okay.
This is a baked. This is a baked.
See, that changes
I
everything.
knew this was.
This is a baked cake.
That's why I was so surprised that he was in.
That's just why I wait on Dawson.
That really does change.
Yeah,
things.
yeah. Not having an 8-inch throbbing hog going
Yeah,
up your
exactly.
ass while she wears a
Exactly.
tiara.
I thought it was just a
you're
masterful
right.
tuck job.
That would modify the list a little bit. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to
I'm
switch
getting
up.
like a hot load blown into your beard when you're done. Like, yeah, that would affect one's decision making.
Right.
So
Yeah,
now
I
that
get
you
it.
have all the info,
I think that the placement of Juliette Lewis at a 4 is
Okay.
perfect, and I would go ahead and mosey on over to Juliette Lewis's bed and run away from Lizzo at
So you're
3.
at
that's where I am.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, go ahead.
We have a new guy, Ben
Oh,
scored
Ben.
Ben
as well.
scored last. Ben is a 9.
Oh, Ben, hats off.
Wow.
Hats
Adventurous.
So that means, Ben, that you would rather bang a he, she than Halsey, right?
It's a 10% difference.
10%
He's absolutely right.
difference.
He's thinking of this from a mathematical point of view.
Yeah. I feel like I'd be all over the Halsey bang
she's
versus
pretty
the
hot.
he, she bang, but okay.
But for the rest of us, go ahead.
I like that Ben's approach to this is the one they did in Moneyball.
This is Halsey. Her flaw.
There's a famous Office episode where the whole staff is split 50-50 on whether Hilary Swank is hot or not, and the whole episode's devoted to it. And finally, Mindy Kaling is making the case for she is hot, and this is basically me right now. She's saying, Hilary Swank is a gorgeous, statuesque movie star, and if you don't think she's hot, then what chance do we, the rest of us, have?
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm pretty sure Juliette Lewis now is more bangable than I am.
I'm
I would
fishing. I'm fishing.
I know.
Scroll
I
up
would
a little
definitely
bit.
bend you, make sweet love.
Sweet love.
To you.
Would
Tender.
you make sweet love
Tender.
to me over Rosie Perez now?
No.
Well, remember, we're going to put this in a vacuum. There's going to be no name dropping.
What do you mean?
I can't brag to people that
Correct.
I banged Rosie Perez.
Right. I'm
It's
just trying to
a
make
serious-
myself.
which I feel is believable.
Tough but fair, man. Tough
Yeah.
but fair.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to ask about Kat Denning or Lisa Kudrow. I just want to. That's what I'm
You're
saying.
not gonna like. Well, no, Leo season 1. I knew
I know.
Lisa Kudrow when she was a groundling and had black hair and like looked
I can't picture that.
different
No.
and maybe a boob job
noticed that?
and stuff. No, my friend dated her and she was a very different. She was she looked like she was in the tribe.
And she went to Vassar, like
She,
all-girls school.
I don't know. I don't. The hair was dark. The nose could have been different, and the boobs could have been different. And so she's kind of transformed herself.
Okay.
I think.
If you scroll up a little bit, guys, we'll see that Gina Grad's at 11.
Thank you, because that's what I'm saying. Like, if everyone's like, "Oh, fuck that," well, what about the rest of us?
Yeah, I know. It's an uncomfortable yet very important list that we've assembled here.
Lisa Kudrow is Jewish.
Yeah, she became very un-Jewish.
Shiksa-esque.
I knew her as a dark-haired, hip, sort of hippie, had an ass on a caboose on her, Jewish chick
Wow.
when I knew her from the Groundlings, and then she transformed herself
transitioned.
into
She
a
became
tall blonde. Yeah.
Jewish.
Right.
Right, yes.
All right, so
Jewish.
everyone's
yes.
pretty much at the middle, out of 5 overall.
Yeah, we're going to have
We'll
to...
see in this list.
We're also going to have to reconvene on the gangbang story, which is
my.
the would you do the 10 versus what is it, the combined? Oh, no, sorry.
Combined threesome.
Yeah, do you take the 8 versus we'll give you to 11 for the combined score
Right.
in the threesome department?
Right. So do you take an 8 or do you take a 5 and a 6?
You can be
Or-
you can be alone with Halsey,
right.
or you could take Gal Gadot and Honey Boo Boo's mom, or any variation that added up to 11.
Interesting.
To figure that one out, because the plan is it'd be great to bang Megan Fox, but with Rosie O'Donnell, you'd have to give her equal time.
Right.
She'd be in the room.
She doesn't just hold the camera.
And she's so chatty.
Yeah.
She'd probably be talking.
Throw koosh balls at you.
Yeah, koosh balls, talking about how she wishes you were Tom Cruise. So we gotta reconvene on that one, Chris, because that's another very important question.
This list seems very well thought
This list
out.
was painstaking. It took all of an hour to compile this
Jesus.
list with the people
With
filibustering
their note
and
cards
arguing.
and thumbtacks and yarn.
Yes, I was getting yelled at for bringing up 70 sitcom stars. Then there was the then versus now.
Uh-huh.
I do appreciate the timeliness of this list.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very specific.
All right, let's see. We got Rotten Tomatoes to play. We can also have people. Oh, is that Halsey? Was that
This is
Lizzo?
our 8 and our 3. This is
Oh
Lizzo
my
and
God,
Halsey together.
That's your 11.
Wow.
And please, if you're going to tweet your score, don't at any of these people. They don't need to know what you think.
I could
listen.
I could put this. I think I could pair this.
Yeah.
Tasting up.
Lizzo is, I know you have thoughts, but she's a pretty girl.
Yeah.
She's a pretty girl.
Can she play the flute while I'm fucking Halsey?
Oh, probably.
Or is that we're just adding on too many extras here?
So you're trading in the skin flute for the actual flute.
Yes. All right. Let's see. We got Ben. We got Ben's score, right? Ben's 10%.
Fucking love him.
So just a reminder. So Emmy and Vito are 5. Chris is 4. Dawson and Gary are never switchers.
Not now. Now he's a 9.
Oh yeah, and then Ben.
Wait, Dawson's a switcher now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry. This is the original paper.
Yeah. Brian's a what? What do we-
I, in a vacuum, I guessed 5, but then when I saw your perfectly curated list,
Yes.
I thought 3 was where the coin gets tossed.
All right.
And the salad.
All right. Gina, lesbo action.
I'd go to a 2
You go down to 2.
Yeah.
Wait, you'd go that.
before I
She cut it off at Lizzo.
Yeah, I would do
After
Lizzo.
Okay. But what about the beautiful he, she who's a she? Like, who cares?
No, that's absolutely true. Well, Well, wait.
We're
so
not on the combined score anymore. We're just on the
understand.
switch part.
But I'm saying I like. The point is, you guys are all freaked out about the tranny, and so if I'm looking at it from through your eyes, I would fuck Lizzo because I like Lizzo.
Right, but through your eyes is the
I'd
answer.
take them all.
You can't. It's not an answer. You'd go.
I mean, he's applauding.
You'd go with the former he, right?
But that's in my eyes. For me, there's no difference.
This is subjective.
So I'm putting myself in through your eyes.
No, I'm just asking you. Have a lesbian experience.
Okay.
It doesn't make a difference whether the person started as a guy or started as a girl. You just go for the 10 who was a he.
You're right.
But let me ask you this.
I'm changing my answer.
Okay.
We go down to Kat Denning and then we move on. Then we switch over.
Oh, then we switch.
Yeah.
You switch. You like Kat as well. Okay.
So we switch at a 5.
What if you switched and you were with the former he that had become a she, the beautiful 10 she, and obviously it's not going to be part of my encounter, but you're going to need to go down on her because there's not a lot left to do for the ladies. What if her surgically reconstructed vagine was better than yours? That could be hard. That'd be a lot of heartbreak.
Let's look in the mirror time.
That's true.
That's gut check, question God kind of stuff.
I get it, but when you're under the knife, I mean, just look at this rack. I get it. It's great because I paid for it. So I get it.
But your rack started off as a larger rack, and now it's a luggage rack, but it used to be a kayak
It's a lumber rack.
Yeah, it was a lumber rack, and now it's a luggage rack, but it started life as a rack. He started life with a cock and balls.
No, you're right. I mean, yeah.
That could be heartbreaking.
No, you're right. I'd probably, you know what? I'd probably be self-conscious.
That's what
I would
I'm
be
saying.
self-conscious. You're right.
I'm changing my answer too. Okay, I'm going to include Lizzo in my group of yes, I would, because she's new on the scene relatively. She's going to be famous for years. Do you know how many times I'd be sitting on the couch with Tessa? Lizzo comes on TV, some award show, and look over at Tessa and go, fucked her.
Yeah, but again, that's not part of the equation.
Why? Oh, because I can't talk about it?
Yeah, it didn't happen. It's just this one encounter. Otherwise, it's going to be too much because, season reruns of Friends with my kids. Hey, I pounded Phoebe, you know.
These are just
That'll make 'em love you.
representations of the number. You're not actually going for these people.
You want to watch Wonder Woman again, Tessa?
Because I don't know when we're ever going to circle back to the hypotheticals. Can we please go back to the classic one before I move on about the coworker? You know what I'm talking about. And I hope I explained this correctly. But there's a coworker that you are not into. They are not attractive. You do not want to fuck them. Everybody thinks you fucked them, and you will never convince them you didn't. Or you secretly do have to fuck them, but no one will ever know.
Yes.
I think that's my favorite hypothetical of all time.
And again, the ultimate tip of the cap, at some point, the person will waffle. So women start off a little sanctimonious. They go, I'll know.
Right.
And I don't care what other people think. And then I go, how about the Christmas party? How about the Christmas party where you're there and you're surrounded by people that are drinking and laughing and whatever, and they go, and now again they go, can I drink? And then I switch them back.
Yeah,
because
that's the tell.
You can booze.
See, I personally think it's an easy answer. I think we're talking about coworkers, we're talking about social gatherings, like you said. You fuck them, and it's your little secret. You move on with your life.
Good news, Chris.
I agree. Yeah. What I would be interested in this because as our societal casualness about sexual encounters, especially with women, I mean, it was a big deal. She was a trollop, you know.
Scarlet Letter.
Scarlet Letter, you know. Now, like, women openly go, I had an abortion. I was with this guy, fuck this dude I met at a party, like whatever it is. The social stigma has gone away. Then there is the social media part of it where people care much less than 50 years ago about who they fucked once and much more about what society thinks of them.
Yep.
So with that number changing, this changed. I mean, this number had to have changed.
What's one more mistake to most people?
Yeah, when I posed this hypothetical like 20 years ago, women were like, "I'll know, that's a thing. I don't care, whatever." Now we've shifted to everyone's fucked everyone, and social media is judging everyone, and I'd rather just fucking take one for the team.
It's a sign of the times.
All right, we will take a quick break. Be back with many Rotten Tomatoes and other updates right after this.
It's time to check Adam's voicemail.
Hey, Adam. My name is Lon, 52, Indiana. I have 3 things that sound better than they actually are. Number 1, urinal cake. Number 2, gay bash. Number 3, money pit. Always getting it on.
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
Yeah, gay bash sounds like it could be a big convention.
Yeah, it's like a New Year's Eve ball.
Big party. That's true. Money pit sounds like you've discovered a pit of money in your home. But a urinal cake still has the word urinal in it, which would hurt almost anything that came afterward. Yeah, I always think, I always have casualty of war and garnish your wages.
Oh,
you know
delightful.
what I thought of in the interim since we did this last? Road rash.
Yeah.
Like road rash is fucked up. It really hurts, and it's going to be healing for weeks. But it's a road rash, yellow rash from the road.
Yeah, it is bad, but it's not something that sounds good and is bad.
Yeah, it's minimized.
It's a way of minimizing what is like one of the most, anyone who's gone down hard on a mountain bike or whatever. Anyone's really experienced road rash.
It's fucked up.
It's fucking miserable.
Speaking of road rash, what do kids call it if they even do it these days, where you take someone's arm and twist it back and forth?
Well, it was
Indian burn.
always called Indian burn.
So I wonder what you call that now.
You know what the thing about kids is? They don't lay their hands on the kids anymore.
They call it felony assault.
Yeah, right. Hate crime.
My childhood could have been just called headlock. Like all we did was try to get each other in headlocks. Everything was about a headlock. There was no such thing as you turning your back to your friend and watching something without them coming up behind you in something. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, yours would have been called headlock. Mine would have been called off the top rope.
Right.
Because I announced every time I was on the stair, you know what I mean, or the bed, off the top rope, the double axe handle.
Yeah.
You could not wear trunks or shorts around my buddy Ray. They were coming down. And if you were standing in front of a group of girls, like my friend David was at lunch, he will come right up behind you and they will go down, and they were not wearing underwear oftentimes, and or the boxers would get taken with the trunks.
That is
pure dick hang.
That's a
16-year-old girls just standing there.
That is a felony assault.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, when's the last time anyone got pantsed at school?
Pantsed. Big thing.
Wow.
Big thing.
Oh, and I remember when we were on a camping trip, like 6th grade, go to Wildwood Camp or whatever. The girls, it would be like, don't get in the shower. Because if the girls got in the shower, another girl would come over with her disposable camera and take pictures of you in the shower.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
We pantsed the guy in my high school and burnt his shorts.
Jesus Christ.
In effigy?
I can't remember what it was in the name of, but we burned him on the gym field.
Wow.
We also, there is a strength of 10 that, the mother gets when the child is trapped under the station wagon. When my buddies Chris and Ray tried to drag me naked out into the street right when school let out, and I lived across the street from the school, that was the power of 10.
Oh, boy.
And those
mother with an SUV.
Those dudes are so strong and so big, and they tried so hard, and I would not let them.
You were more determined for it not to happen.
Right.
I was totally nude, and they were dragging me down my driveway. And I fought them in the nude. Man in the wild. Just fought them in my driveway. Yes, it was awesome. All right. You want to play a little Rotten Tomatoes, Dawson?
All right, so as you hear this, Adam has just returned from his yearly pilgrimage to Monterey, racing vintage cars in Monterey Historics. We'll hear all about how it went on tomorrow's show, but until then, take a look at some movies featuring racing.
Hold on. And first off, Michael Rapaport. Is it Poor or Port? Michael Rapaport?
Heard the T
I heard the
Yeah.
T too, but I don't think we did the T at the beginning of the show. But it's a T, right? What Woody Allen movie was he in?
Mighty Aphrodite. He was fucking the one Mira Sorvino.
Mira
won for.
Sorvino.
Yes.
He was goddamn
Yes.
fantastic.
I was thinking about that. I was like, he was in a great Woody Allen movie, and he was great in Mighty Aphrodite. But here's the film facts I'm in. True Romance, good. Higher Learning, okay. Metro, good. Copland, Deep Blue Sea, fine. The Sixth Day, Dr. Dolittle 2, big fan, and The Heat, but not.
He is great in The
But
Heat.
the Woody Allen movie's not represented.
So-
here.
Well, even in his top Wikipedia line, it doesn't mention that. It mentions those movies. And,
Gee, I wonder why.
And I hear Dr. Dolittle. No, I mean, it mentions Dr. Dolittle 2 over. I guess he really liked working on that movie too. So
good.
that was a talking point for you.
But
Are you surprised that a Woody Allen movie isn't making the cut?
not well.
Like,
look, we got Metro and The Sixth Day and Dr. Dolittle 2.
I just mean Woody Allen.
Oh,
Are
I don't
we
know. Is that
erasing those
what's
from
going
history?
on?
I don't know.
Like, I feel like if you've worked with Woody Allen as an actor, that's something you especially a good film,
Yeah.
one of Woody's good ones.
Not
I
only
feel like
that,
something you
but
get in that.
I'm looking at the list, and I think he's supporting role in all of these films, and he was the co-lead with Mira Sorvino in Mighty Aphrodite.
Well,
This
it's
is why
not-
we got to
it's-
take a deeper dive.
Yeah, well, it's not in his first two paragraphs of his bio there. So yeah, I wonder
Fix
why.
that.
So if you punch in Michael Rapaport movies into Google, it'll just send you to like IMDb or something.
Well, we'll do that too, but typically when you search somebody on Wikipedia, they list their top credits at the very beginning, and so that's what we gave you.
This is an oversight because typically Wikipedia will say this is their most well-known movies.
Yeah.
Prominent roles or whatever.
All right. Well, anyway, I'm going to ask about Woody Allen.
Okay, it's a great movie.
All right, here we go. Ian Mira Sorvino.
All right, first up, based on the 1960s manga and anime series, I had to ask Ben what manga
I don't know what
was,
that is
and then I
either.
had to call him a nerd.
Is that like octopus porn or is that
It's
something
like
else?
some comics that you read backwards.
Oh,
It's Japanese anime.
Remember, he
Right.
said
Hey,
he'd
stop.
switch at a 9.
Yeah, so he's not to be trusted.
Ben, at some point you have to tell us what hentai is.
An 18-year-old automobile racer uncovers the secret of powerful moguls fixing races to boost their profits. He enters a cross-country race to bring them down, starring Emile Hirsch, Christina Ricci, Susan Sarandon, and Kenzie as Chim Chim the chimpanzee
Oh, I thought we were talking about our 8.
from 2008 Speed Racer.
Did we not do this one, or we just talked
We
about it?
definitely talked
we
about
talked
it.
about what a piece of shit it was. This goddamn Speed Racer, this could sum up my entire life. My entire life summed up in this film, which is Speed Racer, the TV show, was the only good thing about my childhood. I didn't have a basketball hoop. I didn't have a swimming pool. I didn't have a dog. All I had was Speed Racer. I memorized every episode. I could sing the theme song. I knew Pops, Racer, and Trixie, and Racer X, and Inspector Detector, and all the side characters. And I waited. I waited patiently for 40 years for them to make a film. And one day I heard they're making Speed Racer the film, and I went, oh, Excelsior.
And the Matrix brothers are doing it.
Yeah, it's going to be like Schneider. It was the most unwatchable piece of shit ever. The Land of the Lost was better.
Wow.
All right, this movie. It's the worst thing you can say.
What year was this?
2008.
The worst thing you can say about any art form is it was like off-putting. You know what I mean? Like I always would say that to people about comedy. You can be funny, unfunny, kind of funny, not so funny. You can't be confusing.
Right.
Like when people go, I don't know what he was. Did you get what he was going for there? Like that's bad. This is like off-putting. It's not just, it was okay, but not good. It was
It knew what it was.
weird.
Yeah.
All right. They had to hate it, but how much?
Was it innovative?
I think it was meant to be.
It was meant to be.
It was an unmitigated disaster.
All right.
I'm not even high.
Are you guys in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
14.
18.
14.
Wow.
Speed Racer is rotten at 41.
I'm very surprised.
And people had it at 60. Wow.
Did I mention Adam and I have numeric dyslexia?
Yes.
A West Virginia family man teams up with his one-armed brother to steal money from the Charlotte Motor Speedway in North Carolina.
Yeah. I love this movie.
Complications arise when a mix-up forces the crew to pull off the heist during a NASCAR race. Starring Channing Tatum, Adam Driver, and Daniel Craig from 2017, Logan Lucky.
Never heard of it, but I like the
Never
cast.
saw it.
It just came out. 2017.
Yeah.
You liked it.
I liked it a lot.
Never heard
But
of it.
did the critics
Or
like
maybe
it?
That's a hell of a cast. I've never heard of
And this
this.
is also one of the lesser celebrated Steven Soderbergh movies.
Really?
Yeah, I know. I like this quite a bit.
I'm shocked that this. I've literally never heard the title before.
It is a Coen Brothers-esque heist movie. It's like Ocean's 11 meets a Coen Brothers movie. Because they're all like West Virginia hicks. Sorry, West Virginia. If you guys can figure out how to work a phone.
All right.
Brian.
Well, where's Brian? What's he doing to us, Gina?
You guys
don't
should
know.
see this.
What's he doing?
I don't know the score is astronomical, but I enjoyed it, and you guys should
It's
see
Steven Soderbergh. It's a really good cast. They are all stars at this point. It's not like, oh, this was before Channing Tatum was famous or Daniel
it.
Craig or Adam
These are huge
Driver.
stars.
How did this fly so beneath the radar then?
I
That's a
don't
really
know.
good question.
I don't
Was
remember a
there
billboard.
thing? Was there some sort of... So one of those things where it's like the weekend it came out, there was a school shooting or something, and
That's
all the
interesting.
news turned to, or some weird event that happened.
It says it came out in August.
Great bag. You
2017.
know who was in this? A small role? The aforementioned Hilary Swank.
Oh, interesting.
Hmm.
Who's the
FBI
girl?
agent.
I can't tell.
I think that's Katie Holmes.
Yeah.
Really?
She plays the estranged wife of Channing Tatum.
I have no idea. Was this a critical darling, especially because we never heard of it? Was it like an indie film? Or was it just bad?
Or maybe it's just one of those films where no one knew what it was, so they didn't see it.
It's kind of hard to market it. All
Okay.
the stars.
Hold on, I got to write something down.
I'm confused. I don't have to go here.
Okay, okay.
Critics don't like car stuff sometimes.
I will tell you the cars don't play that much of a role in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're at a NASCAR event, but they're underground trying to steal all the money.
I
poster.
went barely fresh at 63.
I went with my heart and said 78.
I also said 63.
What the? We just did the same number two
Yep,
times,
twice.
14 and 63, two
Yep.
rando numbers.
Logan Lucky is certified fresh
Good movie, you guys.
at 92%.
What? I didn't know that.
No one's ever heard of this movie.
This is a really good movie.
The audience didn't think it was that
Wow.
great. 76.
Wow.
This is fucking weird.
Watch
man.
this movie now.
You look at the poster, and we're looking at like sort of a dialed down Fast and Furious, the car, the stars, even the font. But
Yes.
the movie's a little more quiet, a little
Color
more
palette.
subtle, a
They
little more
went-
about family.
They went with a yellow race car, so it looks like a cab.
Yeah.
Sort of. It doesn't look like a race car that they're on the hood of. It's black color and black and white.
Was-
like, it just, you don't know what this is.
Was this like a film festival, darling?
I mean, it's got huge stars in
That's
it.
what I'm saying.
It's fairly mainstream.
Wow.
It has 300 reviews almost. It's probably released on 2,000
Yeah,
screens.
now I got to see this. I'm
Yeah,
curious.
it's fun. It's a good movie.
Yeah, it made 48.5 million in the box office. I guess it came out 7th.
That's not that much.
Where would you find it streaming now? All right, go ahead, Dawson.
In this reimagining of the 1959 Academy Award-winning film, we find a man stripped of his title and separated from his wife, enduring years of slavery on a galley at sea. He enters a deadly chariot race to get the chance to exact revenge on the man who destroyed his life, starring Jack Houston, Rodrigo Santoro, and Morgan Freeman. From 2016, Ben-Hur.
Oh, that's right. They
What?
remade this.
I have no memory of these movies.
You
There-
can stream Logan Lucky on Hulu.
Hulu.
Or you can rent it.
There's now been so many movies made, and I've been around so long that I just have. I started off when I was 20. You probably couldn't have named a movie that I hadn't heard of.
Sure.
Now I do not. I look at these posters and go, did they really do this?
Yeah.
And where was I when they did it? And how come I wasn't notified?
There's TV shows, there's sitcoms on right now that get rave reviews that I've never heard of.
Yeah. All right. The original was a classic. Sometimes they punish those who try to reinvent the classics. I have no idea. Brian did or didn't see this?
I was vaguely aware of it.
Is this around the 300s and stuff like that?
This is well after
This
that.
is
But
well
this is
after
in
that.
the 3D craze. Everything had to be in 3D, real D.
And so we didn't hear of anyone, but Morgan Freeman was in it.
Rodrigo Santoro.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, he's the hot guy. Isn't he the hot guy from... I don't know either. No, from Sex and the City. He's the fucking gorgeous caramel-colored muscular man.
Jesus, calm down, Brian.
See, the
He's
guy
also
got
in 300,
The
right?
guy got nude in the shower at the beach.
I believe so. I think he was also in 300.
What you guys are talking?
Didn't he play Xerxes?
Yeah, he was in 300. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just didn't know he was fucking. Okay.
He's a handsome fella.
Okay.
All right. I'm off the pace.
Same.
Gina, you're about in the neighborhood I am since we've had the exact same numbers and we're on the same pace. I have no idea. I came in at 37.
Lower at 21.
49.
49.
I don't know.
Ben-Hur is rotten at 25.
God damn it.
Good game. Good game.
Yeah, I was thinking of going even lower, but I thought
What did you say?
37.
Oh.
I just point out that Logan Lucky made me cry. Moving
I
on.
did.
Really?
Moving on.
All right.
While traveling to California to race in the Piston Cup Championship, race car Lightning McQueen ends up stranded in the rundown town of Radiator Springs. He learns a thing or two about friendship, family, and the things in life that are truly worth racing towards. Starring Owen Wilson, Paul Newman, and Larry the Cable Guy from 2006, Cars.
The original Cars.
Yeah.
Blockbuster, I would think. There's a whole wing of Disneyland.
Best ride at Disneyland.
Yeah,
Great.
that is awesome.
Great
Radiator
film.
Springs.
His Doc Hudson Newman, who was named after the Hudson Hornet, I think the fabulous Hudson Hornet. It was an actual 1950, 51 like race car. That car, they made a car. They obviously it's just animated, but they took a Hudson Hornet, they painted it up like Doc Hudson. I think he signed it, and there's like pictures of him sitting in it and driving it around or something. I think it's going off at auction at Pebble Beach.
Wow.
Can't believe Disney doesn't have that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's weird, but that car is going off. All right, that was Newman's last film, I believe.
Crazy.
And look, everyone loved this one, and unfortunately for us, Gina, we're not really going to be able to make up in more than 3 points,
It's
if at
beloved.
all,
Yeah.
because unless
Dead nuts.
you can land at Dead Nuts, right? So
I was going to do that.
Go shut up.
this is a great film. It also kind of makes you like Larry the Cable Guy. Like you go, oh, that guy was so fun in this.
Tomater.
Yeah.
Tomater, that's right.
Yeah.
All right.
Another great ride at California Adventure.
All right. It's all about cars. There's got to be just a miniature deduction for the cars part of it. 96.
Oh, shit. I may have let you back in the game. I went a little lower at 78.
Whoa, 91.
Cars is certified fresh at 74%.
You motherfucker. You
Wow.
motherfucker.
I was terrified when you both were in the 90s. I'm like, what do they know?
Is it the cars? The fossil fuel burning? Like, is it glorifying racing? Like, this is the perfect film. Like, I loved it. My kids loved it. Whatever age they were when we saw it. Like, it's just, I'm so surprised that this thing is in the lower 70s. Wow.
It doesn't have the pathos of Toy Story, so maybe
Yeah.
they punish it a little for that.
I guess I'm always working the angle, and
In 2006, though, would that have been an angle?
I don't know. I mean, this when did Inconvenient Truth come out? 7, 8,
Around there.
around there. It was the environmental thing's been a thing for a while. I don't know. I don't know if that chipped it down a little bit. People only have it at 79, which seems a little deflated as well. Inconvenient Truth 06, same year. Now, what month did it come out?
Brian, what did you say?
78.
Wow.
Because if you're a film critic and you saw Inconvenient Truth and then Cars, you might shave a couple tens.
Wow.
Yeah. Doc Hudson, the Hudson Hornets doing the corkscrew hill climb in Monterey.
Yeah, that's the only thing I saw about it going to Monterey. I haven't seen the
Really?
auctions. Yeah.
It's at one of the auctions. I can't remember which one, but they're doing or actually, as you hear this, they did a cool thing at the Monterey.
Tell us every detail.
They're going backwards in the track and doing a hill climb up to the famous corkscrew.
In reverse?
In reverse. Yeah, well, reverse direction of the track. And it's a timed event, so they're going to unleash that this year. So that'll be interesting. All right, sorry. Go ahead, Dawson.
A Las Vegas casino tycoon pits 6 ordinary people against each other in a wild dash for $2 million jammed into a locker hundreds of miles away. The only rule in this race is that there are no rules. Starring Rowan Atkinson, John Cleese, and Whoopi Goldberg from 2001, Rat Race.
Brian, why would you have...
We know. I knew this one.
I've never heard of this either.
It made the rounds. It certainly popped
like on
up on
HBO
cable a
or-
lot. And
Is this supposed to be like Mad World?
it's basically a ripoff of Mad World. Just a lot of stunt casting and lots of vignettes, and it couldn't have been good. But where are we at? I mean, Brian's going to have to go with 100. We're going to have to get his dead nuts on at 21, and that's mathematically.
Why did we write that down?
The only way we can do this. If you had any dignity at all, Brian, you'd go 100.
Interesting.
And let us battle it out, because it would put you 80 off, but who knows? It could be 39,
exciting.
and I could go 21 and
Yeah.
still be 20 off that.
Yeah.
I'd be brash. I'd take a big man, Brian. A big man.
Do you have the cojones?
No.
Very, very big man.
Oftentimes they'll put a movie in 5th place or fifth spot in this game with a bit of a trickier score. You know what I'm saying? To kind of even the playing field with it.
How about
Like, what if this ends up being 40?
how about 80? How about you go for 80?
Yeah,
on this
that's
That would be
reasonable.
bold,
That's
yeah.
reasonable.
How about
They call me
take
Bold Brian for a reason.
We take a 7 and a 5, and we get a combined score. 80 would be bold.
But it wouldn't be as offensive as 100.
I
You guys are
don't.
making a lot of sense.
I don't know the number. Brian would have to figure out the number where he would lose if we got it
Right.
dead nuts
It's like
on,
Final
and
Jeopardy
it was
style.
under 30 or
I don't
something
keep
like
track,
that.
unfortunately.
All right. Well, like I said, if you had any spirit or gamesmanship, you'd go 80. But you guys in?
Yep.
Yeah.
I go 19.
Wow.
I don't think I can lose if I go 33.
When Adam throws out a number, you listen.
know.
21.
Should have listened to Brian this time when he threw out a number. Rat Race is rotten at 45.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
See, like I said, this
Christ.
could have swung the game big time to 150.
High.
Wow.
People had it at 64.
So let's just say we're playing for second place here.
Oh, fuck.
Gina Grad, congratulations. You made the podium. And it is third place.
Yeah.
Adam Carolla, 116 for second place. Gina Grad, 121.
Oh, my God.
And that's it. That's all we need to know, right?
Good game, everybody.
The end of it. Good game, everybody.
We have a much lower number.
Brian got 57.
Heinz
Brian,
ketchup.
if you'd done 80, I think you still would have won.
Might be right.
Definitely.
My assignment to everyone in the sound of my voice is watch Logan Lucky.
Wow.
Logan Lucky.
I like that movie quite a bit.
It's reverberating. You're so serious.
Yeah.
Michael Rapaport is going to join us. Guy's got a lot of energy. He's got a new pod out. So we'll take a quick break. We'll be back with Rapaport right after this.
The Adam Carolla Show presents Michael Rapaport's birthday cocktail party for March 20th. Let's see who's here. The 41st mayor of San Francisco, Willie Brown. Carl Reiner just showed up. The subject of the Pink Floyd song Vera from The Wall. Does anybody here remember Vera Lynn? Ice hockey legend Bobby Orr. Australian scientist and the inventor of the flight data recorder, also known as the black box, which, by the way, is orange so it can be located. David Warren. Black box. Good name for GSV. Fred Rogers is here. We've got a 20 on the snowman. Jerry Reed is here. Pat Riley. The drummer for ELP, Carl Palmer. Actor William Hurt. Stevie Ray's brother, guitarist Jimmy Vaughn. Spike Lee just joined the party, and he brought Mookie Blaylock. Holly Hunter is here with Kathy Ireland. And here to explain why everyone acts like they act, behaviorist B.F. Skinner. Michael Rapaport is on the Adam Carolla Show.
Hey, Michael.
Yo.
Just for clarity, it's Rapaport with a T, right?
Rapaport with a T. Do I look French to you, Adam?
No, you do sound French. You just don't know. Michael's got a podcast called I Am Rapaport. Last time I saw him, I think I was wearing the T-shirt that said I Am Rapaport
Big
on
fan.
it. And it was a total coincidence. It's now on the iHeartRadio podcast network. Michael, so we're looking at your IMDb page, and we got a bunch of movies, but we didn't get Mighty Aphrodite. Do you have thoughts as to why that's how it works? And do you have thoughts about that experience working with Woody Allen way back when?
It was great working with him. I worked with him a couple of times. You know, I mean, his body of work is ridiculous. He's a very hands-off director, like all the great directors that I've ever worked with. They're not, you know, hemming and hawing and breathing down your back. Yeah, I mean, it was easy working with him. Very, very easy.
What other stuff did you work on with him on?
I worked with him on Mighty Aphrodite. I worked with him on Small Time Crooks, another good film. And I did a series with him for, I don't know what streaming company.
Did you just go in and audition at first, or did he see you in some other work?
I actually never auditioned for him. When I met him for Mighty Aphrodite, he didn't tell me what he saw. He told me he saw me in something. And, you know, the meeting was literally less than 5 minutes. He was like, you know, you're in New York? I said, yeah, I'm in New York. He goes, oh, I'm doing something in a couple of weeks. You know, will you be around? I was like, yep. It was literally something like that. I swear to God, it was like 2 minutes. And then, you know, I got a call a couple hours later that he cast me in the movie, which was very, very, very exciting at the time. And you know, like I said, a very, very easy working experience with him.
Yeah, I think that's the key. Anyone who's ever worked with directors that are sort of agitated and on you, it's just like, I never understood why people, like when I would host the show, I would always go visit with the guests and I would go, say whatever you want. You can't do anything wrong. If the show sucks, it's my fault. Have fun. And then other people go, like, don't do this. You can't say that. Like, why are you getting up in everyone's fucking head? It's weird. We're trying to coax a natural performance out of somebody. Like, why would you do that? But
I agree.
So many do.
It's funny that you said that you do that because you then, but I did get that text from you saying, well, when you come on the show today, don't say this, don't say that. So it's funny that, which is weird. Which is weird.
The end of that
you've
text.
Never done that before.
At the end of the text, I said, "Do not bring that shit up on the air, Michael."
I didn't get to that part because I was so freaked out that you had sent me the first part. I'll reread. I'm sorry, I didn't bring that up.
We'll cut this out.
The dead giveaway is Adam sent me a text.
Yeah, I really don't know how to do that. Although the little texting I do like it better because there's more distance between you and the person you're trying to communicate with.
Nice.
Did Well, speaking of you and the huge personality, everyone knows you on Stern and knows you always going at it with Gary Delabate. And I don't know.
Are you still calling him that?
I don't know, Fa Funky or Monkey but
yeah, because it's funny you call him Gary, and it's clearly a gorilla dressed up in human clothes, and they gave him a human name, and it's cute. It's cute, but it's like at some point that gorilla, like all pet gorillas, it will turn and it will attack Stern and the entire Stern Show staff, and then it won't be so funny. So when you go, oh, Gary, that's like you're sort of placating it. And then when that dirty, filthy ape goes back to resorting to being the dirty, filthy ape that he is, then it's going to be a shit show. And then where are we? Then what do we have? We have blood on our hands. And you're going to have blood on your hands, Adam.
This whole time I thought it was a real person.
Yeah.
I come to find out.
Fooled you once, shame on you.
How did that whole thing start? Like you showed up as a guest? I'm guessing. Like when was your first appearance on Stern?
I don't know. Maybe close to eight years ago. Maybe eight years ago. But I'm a fan of the show, and I'm a fan of the chaos of the show, and I never try to be sort of part of the show. I always I don't try to like be Mr. Superfan or all that stuff. Like for me, the fun part of participating on the Stern Show is sort of being a part of the chaos and the unpredictability and the sort of, is this real or is it not real part of it? That's what I really, really like. And that's what I'm a fan of. So that's, why when I'm on there, I do what I do.
Michael created my favorite insult of all time. It's in the headlines. It's super funny, referring to Gary's mouth as a wet market.
That's correct. That is correct. His
really
mouth
good.
is a wet market. That's very correct. I appreciate that you
I'm a fan.
brought that up.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
God, I used to do Stern Show after I got off of Loveline at midnight from L.A. We started at 3 a.m.
Man, that's crazy.
3 a.m. And I would go home. For the insane part of that schedule is I was at Westwood 1, and I would do Stern from Westwood 1, and I would sit in the entire show for 5 hours. And so I started at 3 LA time. I don't know why I didn't go, I'll join you guys at 4 so I can sleep in.
Or I'll set up a bed.
Yeah, I'll power through.
Cot.
I would leave Loveline at 12:03. I would drive to my house in the Hollywood Hills.
12:03 for your keys. Come back in and grab them.
I would always go a minute or two long. Then I would walk in my front door at 12:30. Then I would pour a glass of wine and I would watch SportsCenter. And then at 1:30, I would go to bed. And then at 2:30, I would wake up and drive back to Culver City and go right back into the exact same studio and sit there for 5 hours.
That's crazy.
The toughest part was driving home at like 9:15 in the morning. Traffic, people drinking coffee and like walking around. I was like, I can't operate a vehicle. Like I couldn't. People don't realize sleep deprivation will kick the shit out of you in 10 seconds flat. Yeah. Or I don't know, Michael, maybe you're one of those guys who annoys everyone by saying, I wake up at 5 no matter when I go to bed.
No, 100%. Definitely not. I'm definitely not one of those people. This morning, actually, since you brought that up, I actually had I was watching this Kobe Bryant documentary, and I said, you know what? I want to get up tomorrow and work out and have the Mamba mentality. And I set my alarm to 5:30. And when my alarm went off at 5:30, I hit the snooze button. But let me tell you something. When I hit that snooze button, I was motivated to shut the shit off. But that was as close as I got to having the Mamba mentality.
What doc is this? Because I know you've done docs. I know you did a Tribe Called Quest doc, and I'm guessing you must have some other doc ideas you're kicking around or working on.
I did a Tribe Called Quest documentary, Beat Rhymes in Life, which I loved doing and very proud of that. I did a 30 for 30 on the last championship Knickerbocker teams, the New York Knicks.
Right.
I I play around with the idea of doing different stuff for docs, but they're very, very challenging, and you can't really dip your toe into a documentary. You have to really swim in the deep, deep, deep part of the ocean with passion to get them done. So right now I don't have anything that I'm really excited about doing, but maybe someday I will make another one.
Speaking of what we were talking about earlier, Michael, how did you put your interview subjects at ease when you were doing the Beats, Rhymes, and Life? Which fantastic doc, by the way. How'd you put them in a space where they would open up to you?
Just try to be as genuine as possible and as curious as possible. I mean, I think, the main thing you need is a documentary, as a documentary filmmaker, is curiosity. And I was very, very curious. And like I said, if you're going to do a documentary, you can't be half interested, sort of interested, kind of, it takes too much work. It's too much ground and pound, too little money to sort of, play around with it. You have to really, really be excited about getting it done.
Yeah, the documentaries are sort of about legacy more than they're about making money, because there's not a real path financially to really. I mean, by the time if you did your hourly rate, you'd be well below someone who works at McDonald's in terms of the amount of money you get paid per hour. If you just took all the weekends of you sitting there with time codes and watching long cuts and trimming and, just whatever expenditure was. Like if you treated making a doc like lawyers treat billable hours on a case, like, I was golfing, but I was thinking about you, buddy. So that'll be $5,200. Like, if you treated it like billable hours that Mark Garagos does, a doc, you would definitely come out lower than minimum wage.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Yeah, I mean, there's a chance it goes to Sundance and there's a bidding war, but that's probably not going to happen.
That happened to Michael's doc.
Oh, wait.
They played at Sundance, right?
Yeah. We did well for a documentary. We did well, and when I say did well, I didn't make any of my money back, but people still talk about the film.
So, like you said, the legacy, not the money.
it is the legacy. It's like
exactly.
this is what you did. And also, there's a weird kind of custodial part of it, which is nobody would know this story if we didn't make it in this digestible bite size. I mean, you could have buy a book on anything, but I mean, this 90-minute digestible, entertaining piece. Yes.
For sure.
I know you got into it with Kevin Durant last year. How's that feud?
Yep.
How's that feud going?
Well, I mean, he's proven that he's, one of the wildest athletes in the modern era. He goes after, random people on Twitter. Now he's going after the coach, Steve Nash, that he approved to be hired. He's going after the GM. And, I'm sure he'll get traded at some point and piggyback his way to another. I don't think he'll ever win another championship. Maybe he'll win one at the next stop after this next stop. But, he came to New York with a great opportunity to win a championship, and he's leaving Brooklyn, with his head down. And it's like I said, he's one of the best players in the league, but he's certainly, not a leader. He's not emotionally stable. He's had COVID, I believe, allegedly 3 times, which is one more than he has championship rings. He's an excellent player. An excellent player, but he wasn't built for the bright lights of New York City.
I would reckon that most Americans had COVID more than they had championship rings. I mean, to be fair to Kevin Durant,
that's true.
Mike August had it twice, and
he has no rings.
Even Biden had it 2 times.
Has no rings.
That's true.
Yeah,
that is true. You're right about that. That was kind of a cheap shot, but that's what I'm here for.
No, I'm just looking for accuracy. I mean, I'm not. I was entertained by it. So what is his, first off, I feel like he's been in the league for 15 years. I mean, you said the stop after the next stop or maybe it's his male pattern baldness, which is a cheap shot as well, but it makes me think he looks a little older. How long is drafted in 07?
He's 33.
Oh, so I guess
he's still one of the best players. But he's got a 4-year contract with the Nets. Inevitably, he's going to wind up getting traded somewhere. He just asked, like I said, for the coach that he approved, 2-time MVP and Hall of Famer Steve Nash. He approved him to be the coach, and now not only does he want the coach to be fired, he wants the GM to be fired. And he, instead of just saying what he wants and sticking to his guns, the day after the draft, he said he wanted to be traded. It's unfixable at this point with him and the Brooklyn Nets, and I'm sure the Brooklyn Net fans, and the fans of basketball. I just don't think it's good. I don't think it's classy. I don't think it's a champion. And for somebody who's that good, his decision making is just really bad. He's got G League decision making and Hall of Fame skills.
Is there? I love that Ben Affleck movie. Is it are we at a point where some of these players are getting paid so much and have like so much juice that it's just hard to coach them now? Like the coaches can't do what they used to do. They have to. This guy's getting a vote on who they hire and all that.
These super mega stars are like de facto GMs or assistant GMs. They run the show.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's a two-way street. I think the coaches, what it means to be a coach has to evolve. And I think they, specifically in the NBA, in my opinion, they've given the powers too much leverage. They've given the players too much leverage. You got guys sitting out entire seasons like Ben Simmons last year and getting paid, although they're trying not to, they're trying to, not pay him for, some of his time in Philadelphia. I'm sure that's going to wind up going to court. You got the Houston Rockets who paid John Wall not to play, literally like a piece of merchandise, so he didn't get hurt, so his trade value would, stay high. It's just not good. I feel like if Kyrie Irving last year, with the vaccine and his stepping away from games, he continued to get paid a lot of his money. I think there has to be. There has to be ramifications for not playing unless you're injured. You can't just not like the coach, not like the fans, not like, the vaccine mandates and all this. Guaranteed money is I think, going to go away because of some of the guys I just mentioned.
Gina.
I can't remember how long ago it was, maybe a few months. We brought up, maybe it was during the news, that you had filmed yet another, because they're everywhere, especially in our big cities, dude like smashing and grabbing at like maybe a Dwayne Reed and followed him out the door in New York. Did you get any blowback for that? Because you'd be shocked at the blowback we get in LA for saying, can you please, not shoot up in front of the kid's school?
Well, I wish it would have been a smash and grab. It would have been even more exciting. It was so casual, and the guy was so relaxed in a Rite Aid, just packing his bags with condoms and toothpaste and some shampoo. And then he went back and got hair conditioner that matched the shampoo.
Oh, good.
And he walked out, and I just happened to be in there. But it was, we were making eye contact, and I was just tripped out. The thing that was most trippy is that how casually he was about it. And I just started filming because I had never seen that happen in person. You see it online and because it was me and, my social media platform is big, it went super duper viral. Something's got to change. It's not okay to be able to do that. It's not okay to be able to, do drugs in the middle of the street. It's not okay. There's so many things that are not okay that are going on in this, in the country right now. It's not okay. In some states, Indiana just, is the first state. I think they're very proud of banning abortions. You have an animal like Philip Gunn down in Mississippi. These are government officials saying that they think if a 10-year-old girl gets raped, that they should have to carry the baby. There's crazy shit going on across the board. And, we could say, oh, it's this side and that side. I don't support sides. I support reality. I support what's fair, what's right. And it certainly isn't cool, dope, fresh, or American to be able to walk into a Rite Aid and just pack your bag and not even feel scared
right
to do that. Like, normally, like, back in my days, if you stole a pack of gum, like your heart should be racing. This motherfucker was in there like, like it was just a day at the beach.
And the security guard was kind of just like, what do you want from me? He didn't try to stop him.
He said people come in there all the time and do it. He said it had happened all the time. He said it was, he said, some frat kids came in, he said Friday, he referenced Friday. He was like, they took beers and said, have a good night, man. Like, they're just like, yo, we're just getting our shit.
Wow. Yeah. So I was saying this the other day on another show, but I was saying, when I was a kid, as it pertains to sort of crime, because now we have video everywhere and everyone has a Ring doorbell and a camera and a monitor or anything. So when I was a kid...
Wait, hold on. There's someone at my door. Hold on.
Speaking of which.
Wow. He knew because he had a Ring doorbell.
So let's hope it's the guy he was talking shit about.
Scary Delonte.
It's Kevin Durant.
Right. Okay. When I was a kid, there were two things that involved my backyard where a Ring doorbell would have come in.
Game changer.
Nicely. One is my mom had a pot plant that got stolen from the backyard. And
pot or potted?
Pot.
Oh.
Was definitely one of my friends that stole that pot plant, but we would have been able to substantiate who it was.
I'm back.
The other, I was saying, back in the day, my mom got a pot plant stolen out of her backyard. If we had video footage of it, I could have busted the kid. It was one of my friends. I wasn't sure which one. And then later on, famously, I had a friend announce that he'd returned my unicycle to my backyard, and it must have been stolen if I couldn't find it back there, and that was the last we saw. And a video camera would have solved this problem.
Right.
So if you would have told me back in 1975, we're going to have video cameras everywhere. Not just stores, convenience stores, every backyard, every porch. As a matter of fact, if somebody is a bomber and they're walking down the street, they're going to get picked up from this camera to that camera. We'll trace their entire...
It'd be a perfect society, you'd think.
Right. But here's the caveat. We decided not to do anything about the video footage. So you could call the cops and go, I have video footage of a guy stealing shit off my porch, and they'd be like, good luck to you. Or you could have a dashboard, dash cam of somebody blowing out your window and stealing your backpack, and they'd go, fine. So we're ostensibly in the same place.
Right.
We have the
traded
evidence,
it out.
but we just ended up in the same place. Either way, your shit's gone, and there's nothing we can do about it. At least we have, video evidence. And it is insane to me that every one of these stores is filled with 1,000 cameras, and the people just walk in there with impunity and steal shit. But here's how it works. Criminals they are in the business of getting away with as much as they can possibly get away with. And so whatever we let them do not be surprised if that's what they do. And that's what Michael walked into the middle of. How is New York? I was in New York a couple of weeks ago. It seemed good, but I didn't ride the subway. I think I might be a little freaked out about the subway.
New York is great. Listen, there's been violence in the subway for as long as I've been alive in New York. I was born in 1970. There's been terrible things in the subway. I don't know the statistics.
I saw the Warriors. Good. I get it.
You saw it.
Yeah.
Bernard gets, obviously now there's more cameras and there's more ways to document it. Not to say that it's always been as bad as it's been, but it's New York. It's a subway. Like any big city, you got to be careful. It's not what it should be by any means. But, sometimes when you just watch Twitter and Instagram, you think that, people are down there, with bazookas and, and machetes, just chopping people up. And that is not the case. Like I said, it's inexcusable, the violence. It's inexcusable to feel unsafe. The homelessness is shit in New York. The homelessness is shit in all our big cities. I was just in Los Angeles. It's embarrassing what's going on in Los Angeles. And it needs to get better all over the place. I can only speak on the cities that I, know and visit, because like I said about New York, the media will make it one thing Sometimes it's different. But for me, New York and in the subway, it's not what it should be, but it's certainly not. It's not unusable. Well, the subway is not like a place where you can't go.
I only lived in New York for a few years, but let's put it this way. Today, I would much rather just jump on the train in New York. I wouldn't think twice about it than get on the train here and go to Dodger Stadium.
Oh,
I'd be much more comfortable.
We forget about our subway.
No way.
Did what I noticed is many more pedicabs. I never noticed the pedal cabs when I was
Chicago,
there.
too.
I never even saw them when I was in New York several years ago. Now they're all over the place. And a hell of a lot more falafel carts, man. There's a lot of street food going on and a lot of pot trucks, too. There's trucks that sell gummies, edibles.
We didn't have those.
There's pot trucks. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. I can't figure out because weed is not legal in New York. They have I don't know. They have this weird middle ground that they're playing around with. But pot trucks are dope. I don't smoke like I used to as far as weed, but one thing that I think is this, because New York is a walk-in city. California is, you're in your car everywhere. One thing that is not cool, I could say about New York, is that when sometimes it's just weed everywhere. And whether you're a weed smoker or not, I'm like, that shit is just I'm not at a Grateful Dead concert. We're not at Woodstock. I don't want to smell it all over the place, 24/7.
Yeah, and I don't know what the legalities are, the rules are of the truck. I just sort of passed by a few, and I noticed they looked like food trucks, but they were selling edibles.
Wow.
But,
good idea.
Yeah, but, now you know why there's so many more falafel trucks, too. I mean, they got the falafel cart, the food, the pot, everyone load up on edibles and then stagger over down to get some falafel. But I didn't know. I didn't think they were selling dime bags, but they were definitely selling
like
something.
the Rice Krispie space cakes, whatever.
I guess there's some law somehow.
They're doing something. Some sort of something.
Let me write that down. Yes. Where do you live in the city approximately? You don't have to give your address out.
Right in Manhattan. Born and raised right here in Manhattan, and I'm back here full time. I was sort of more based in LA, but now I'm full time in New York, and I come to LA when need be.
Cuomo signed a bill decriminalizing recreational marijuana for adults in March of 2021.
There you go.
It was like a little pandemic thing going on there. Let me give a plug to Michael. I Am Rapaport. It is now on iHeartMedia Podcast Network. And you can also shoot him and check his Instagram out at Michael Rapaport as well. Good to catch up with you, Michael.
Yo, it's good to catch up with you. I've always been a fan, and I appreciate the support always. And, I listen to you guys, and thank you for having me, man.
Thanks, Michael. We'll see you soon. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back and do the news right after this.
Well, this story is getting some attention, and sometimes with enough attention, things start to change. But Facebook has turned over chats of a mother and her daughter to Nebraska police because they were planning a murder. No, they were robbing a bank. No. They served a warrant as part of an investigation into an illegal abortion, according to court documents in Nebraska. Facebook snitched.
Why did Facebook do that?
They were served a warrant. They handed it over. The investigation was launched in April before the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade.
Is there an abortion emoji, or do you have to write everything out?
Yeah, there will be one.
Is there a
like the eggplant is a dick. Oh, Brian.
I'm asking.
So the investigation. Okay, so in this instance, Facebook's turning over information to help law enforcement officials pursue an abortion case.
A skull and a rattle.
Oh my God. But it's also one example of a scenario that abortion rights experts have warned about that will be common. This isn't, the private matters are no longer private.
So is this just what it is on its face?
Well, let me tell you. I'll tell you exactly what happened according to them. So Madison County prosecutors, because they're trying to prosecute, say Jessica Burgess, she's 41, acquired and gave abortion pills to her daughter. Now, that could be the Plan B or, whatever. I'm not really sure. Who was 17, her 17-year-old daughter at the time. And then they had to secretly bury the embryo in the backyard, give it a private burial because they didn't know what to do.
Wait, I don't know that much.
That's what it says.
Is it... Don't you go full goldfish with the? All right,
boy.
wait a minute.
Ooh,
There's the morning after pill,
Yeah.
but that's not the abortion pill.
Well-
That's RU486.
Look at you.
Well, I've always thought it was weird that they named it RU486 because it looks like a vanity
Question,
license
yeah.
plate. When you 86 somebody, you come RU.
So the answer is yes.
86ing this
486ing.
fetus.
Yes, very
you are
much.
486ing
That's
this
true.
fetus.
It's got to be an inside joke, like from the development stage.
Well, because all those names are made up anyway.
Yeah.
Are you
for 86ing
I just
this?
picture it in a license plate.
Are you 469?
You're right.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I never thought about that.
I was always like, it's like Premarin
Yep.
is
Mare urine.
mare urine. But I was like, I'd pick two other words and put them together. You know what I mean?
Horse piss. LX.
Yeah, I don't know. Put some happy euphemistic spin on it. I have no idea where they ended up with RU486, but it reads like you're 86ing
Yeah,
a
that's-
At
fetus.
least it's accurate.
So, then you take the pill, but I thought you took the pill at a point. I think if you had to bury something, we were past the pill.
Possibly. Well, I'm out of my depth on this one.
Depends on when you take it, I guess.
Yeah.
Could be a cluster that comes, out.
All right.
So according to a sworn affidavit from the detective of Norfolk Police Investigation Unit, police started with a tip from a fucking snitch, a woman who described herself as a friend of the teenager.
Not for long.
Who said she saw her take a pill in April and reported it to the police. And then they got a warrant for Facebook talking to her mother.
How could you possibly see somebody like I walked into her bedroom
Hey,
at
you know what this
midnight?
is?
She had
Yeah,
a-
right.
She had a pill that I recognized. How is I saw
I don't
you
know.
took a... And look, if somebody said, here's a pill for an abortion, you'd probably take it, probably close the door maybe.
Close the bathroom
Wait till you're
door.
alone.
Just like head into the bathroom or
Yeah.
something. I saw her take a pill.
Go in the town square, let everybody know.
Yeah, but...
Well,
and
if it
what
was a friend, she probably told her, it's like, guess what this is? I don't know.
yeah, she must have, yeah.
So Facebook, I know a lot of people got a lot of shit on those Facebook Messenger back and forth. So all kinds of stuff.
This is a very
I'll be
eerie
right back.
harbinger.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Where do they get the name RU486, Chris?
The company that made it, it was the 38,486th version, and the
Boo.
company starts with RU. So
Like WD-40.
yeah, it's like Rasul Ulaf or something like that, and then so it's shortened.
But then the four... But does anyone...
486 is 38,486th version, or
Wow.
whatever,
But does anyone raise their hand and go,
Say,
Oh,
I know we landed on this totally randomly. That said,
we got another drug that we're just putting the finishing touches on that is for your urethra blockage, and we could do that, and then we could make you RU487, and we could avoid... My
Then
kids...
people won't trust it because that's too high a number.
My kids were supposed to be born on 666. That was their date. That was their due date.
And you were too superstitious to allow this?
it was shocking at the time.
No,
Yeah.
I wasn't really. It was just sort of discussed like, well, can you have a C-section the following day? Like, yeah. It's like, all right, let's do that then.
I have to say, I'm surprised.
That's all it was. First
That
off,
was a big wedding date
They
for
need
a
all
lot
the fucking help they can get, number one. Number two,
Yeah, they should hope to have Satan on their side.
it's like saying, I don't know. It's like it's basically like saying, hey, we're going to be in Maui, and we can either come home on Friday the 13th or Saturday the 14th, and you just go, I don't know, let's do Saturday. Like I'll flip a coin. If it's a coin toss, let's not fly on Friday the 13th. That's basically what that is.
You know me. I'm insane. I have no thoughts about this.
About
flying on
666?
Friday the 13th or 666.
Well, I guess if somebody said,
Heathen.
and Friday the 13th, by the way, used to be a bigger deal.
Yeah.
They made movies about
the
it.
best.
There was shit that went down.
Under ladders.
It was basically the Devil's Triangle, the Bermuda Triangle. It had something. It doesn't carry much black cats crossing in front. There's a
Everything's
thing.
been debunked.
If they would have, you got a hold of somebody in this country, more so 20 years ago, and said, would you like to go skydiving on Friday the 13th or the following Friday the 20th?
They'd have an
most
opinion.
Americans would go, we'll just wait. Yeah, or we'll go the one before.
I'm not in a hurry.
That's what I'm saying.
I think you're right. I think it did have more gravitas.
It
in the
had
80s.
gravitas.
Yeah. All right.
You'd have, if it was Friday the 13th, they would announce it, and you'd have to kind of think about it a little bit. Like, what am I doing today?
Triskaidekaphobia.
That's after you eat turkey.
Triskaidekaphobia?
Triskaidekaphobia. Fear of Friday the 13th.
Is
Or
that
the number
what that is?
13. Or yeah.
General fear of 13.
There you go. And yeah, like it's 2022 and there's still elevators without a 13th floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, just saw that in Chicago.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Let's talk Britney Spears.
Yeah.
So TMZ reports that Kevin Federline has had enough of Britney Spears' public attacks on their sons together. A lot of Instagram posts about it. Sean Preston and Jaden James. And now he wants to show the world just how contentious he says Britney's relationship has been with the boys for years. They weren't allowed to go to the wedding and she got all pissed about it. Well, Federline posted a series of videos Wednesday night saying, I cannot sit back and let my sons be accused in this way after what they've been through. As much as it hurts, we decided as a family to post these videos of the boys took when they were 11 and 12.
Not the whole family.
Yeah.
This isn't even the worst of it. The lies have to stop. I hope our kids grow up to be better than this. So in one video, she's in the car with the boys and saying she took one of their phones away for a week because one of them showed up without shoes on and it was cold out and she was in shock. And as a little brother and he's your blood, how could you allow this? So it really didn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And then here's this one. It sounds like she's talking to the younger one. Check out the vocal range she goes through in about 60 seconds.
They thought something was wrong with me because I had your boobs are poking out.
Come in here when we're trying to go to bed and then you just go and you say...
It's my house. If I forget something, then This is my house. Ooh. If I want to come in here and give you lotion for your face because it is coarse and all you tell me, no, it's fine. No, it's not fine. You all better start respecting me. Are we clear?
Yeah.
And when Robin calls and you're all, even Robin's a fucking kid. She goes, what have you been doing to your kids? You all need to start treating me like a woman with worth. I am a woman, okay? Be nice to me.
She's bringing a lot of extraneous stuff into this.
Yeah, put a lot
conversation.
on the kids.
What's going on with the lotion?
Because your face is coarse. I've never heard
The
that.
11-year-old needs lotion?
I
Did he
guess.
get frostbite?
Coarse is not a word I've ever heard to
And also the whole
explain a face.
walking around with no shoes. This bitch is naked in half
That's
the posts I
true.
see her in. All she's wearing is her hand over her cooter. Cooter hand. Strong cooter
Don't break
hand.
it. That's a cooter hand.
You've heard of pimp hand. This
Actually,
is cooter hand.
Strong cooter hand.
Ben, if it's convenient, I don't know if you're on the page or not, but can you pull up that other video? I don't know if you have it up or not. We weren't going to have it. But yeah, it's hard to figure out. It's not like, oh, I see what the problem is. It's so hard to follow what the fuck she's talking about that I can't really even distill it into anything.
Well, there's big free Britney movement and everything, but in this case, can't sort of both sides be right? Like, can't she be sort of unfit and nutty? And can't the parents be horrible custodians and money grubbing at the same time?
But if she's unfit, that's a family court issue. Like maybe she shouldn't have her kids all the time. It doesn't mean you can take her money away. It's all her money.
Also, whether it's her or like Alec Baldwin. Remember everyone went nuts over Alec Baldwin yelling at his daughter.
Thoughtless little piggy.
And whatever. Historically, parents have yelled at kids.
And how?
We've not really had recording devices back in the 1600s.
Yeah.
You had a scroll and a stenographer, but they couldn't write that fast.
Yeah.
You had parchment, a guy trying to draw you with your hand up in there.
Quill real fast.
Right. But This notion of like, we have a tape of this parent yelling at their kid. It's pretty ubiquitous shit.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. I don't think that now being a parent, I get that completely, whatever. But this is like she's going back and forth, like in the hall, talking about her boobs, the kids trying to sleep,
It seems
the vocal
a little
gymnastics.
Seems a little nutty.
This is, I think we have part of the car rant where she's talking about taking his phone away for a week because he didn't have shoes on.
Have you lost your mind? I do care, but I'm shocked as with you. And I don't know what to do. And I'm scared of you because you're weird, because you're going through puberty. I was in shock in the store when I looked down, and Jaden, how are you so cool about that? Your brother being with Bear's big feet, size 13 now?
Well, he's my brother.
And all the more exposed, his feet, your blood in an ice cream shop in Alaska weather? Don't you think that's a little odd? No. Oh,
Isn't
yeah, I think
the inside of all ice cream shops Alaska weather? I feel like
that's a good point.
It is
It's
full
rarely
of frozen
balmy.
containers.
Yeah, frosty.
Yeah,
How
go
old
into
were
a
those
bakery if you want to warm up.
That's true.
How old were those kids?
In that one, I think the oldest one was 15, so the other one's like 13 or 14.
My parents rarely cursed around me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad,
I think Chrissy's parents did.
I think my dad yelled cocksucker once, and
Oh,
I
boy.
know exactly where I was.
Did he get rear-ended or something? Or someone?
No, but you have your memory is sort of correct. I was, we're going down Laurel Canyon to his shitbox apartment, and I'd taken his trumpet mouthpiece and I held it out the window because I thought, my mind was going to make a Louis Anderson.
Noise.
I'm not
Louis
Louis
Armstrong.
Anderson, Louis Armstrong. It was going to make a trumpet sound if I
Right.
held it out the window, and I dropped it. And, of course, it was probably $11 worth of mouthpiece, so we had to stop and search for it and everything. And it was nicked up.
boy.
You'd have to. My dad would have had to have. If you gave that to me, I'd just walk into the shop and have like Sean buff it out with some memory, whatever. But my dad didn't have those skills. And I think he yelled cocksucker.
At you?
No, to the heavens where God is.
You're not going to believe this. I have the sound that the thing made as a drop. Yeah.
You want pants? I need rent.
Yeah, it's Louis Anderson.
That's Louis. Yeah.
This is how cool my parents could be back in the day. The rule in our house set by my dad was you can only swear if you're not yelling at someone in anger. So if it's part of a joke or
That's good.
your shtick,
That's good.
we'll look the other way. But you don't look at someone and swear at them.
So for comedic emphasis.
Exactly.
Yeah, my parents they didn't talk, so there wasn't a lot of opportunity for swearing. Swearing will come out with talkers a lot because they'll be rolling along and shit'll come flying
You
out.
got to talk to swear.
The when you just told your cocksucker story, this memory that I've never shared with anyone because it was pretty traumatic at the time. The best was visiting my dad or us all coming out here when we were little, and he was taking us to Knott's Berry Park, but he was kind of.
Is Knott's Berry Park the same as Knott's Berry Farm?
Farms. I'm sorry. That's
All
what I
right.
meant. Thank you.
And
Knott's
there's
Berry
a place
Farm.
across the street for
you're
poor
right.
people.
You're right.
Can't
It
get
is.
in.
It's the poor Disney. But
It is, yeah.
$22 too rich for
a
your
lot
blood.
of rampant ADD in our family and a lot of unchecked all kinds of stuff. And so at the time, he's driving around and we can't find a parking space and he's getting pissed and he starts yelling at us in the back. This place is called Knott's Berry Fuck. It's Knott's Berry Fuck.
Wow.
Yelling at us and
Unhinged dad is a good. Unhinged dad.
he wasn't mad at us, but he needed to get it out.
Yeah. They closed it a few weeks ago because too many people fist fighting.
That's right.
Yeah. Oh no.
Classy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I love my dad, by the way. You all know that, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, let's move on to somebody who might not be as proud of their dad. Armie Hammer. We've been asking where he is, what he's doing. And there was that rumor that he was selling timeshares.
How does that even, speaking of his dad, what if you were there along for the ride, like you're a friend of the family, friend of the parents, and what have you, and you were there for Social Network and, I don't know.
What else was he in?
Lone Ranger.
The Lone Ranger,
He was in
whatever.
one of their really big movies.
You see it, and then at some point, and then you just went to do missionary work in the Congo or something, and then you came back.
Yeah.
Like
That
5 years
handsome
later,
cover
and
of the
they're like,
Community.
Whatever happened to that
is he
dashing-
running Hollywood yet? Like, no, what happened? And you'd be like, what did he do? Did he drop the N-bomb or something? Would he injure himself somehow? He can't speak.
I'm vegan. He wasn't talking about eating meat, was he?
Right.
Touched a woman inappropriately.
Yeah, is there some Me Too-y thing? Like, how would you even describe
Endorse Donald
that
Trump?
guy? Yeah, right.
Well, the good news is we won't have to describe it. It will be described to us because on Discovery Plus, September 2nd, there is a docuseries about what the hell is going on with this family. It's called The House of Hammer, and it is.
It's on my underwear.
This thing goes
Good gay porn
back.
bar. The House of Hammer.
Actually, you know what? Well, I only grabbed a minute of it, but I kind of want to watch the whole thing. It's kind of long,
Me
though.
too.
But the series will air on September 2nd, and it gets into the legacy of the Hammer family, alleging many of the men had a real dark side. Armie's Aunt Casey, she has a self-published book from 2015 called Surviving My Birthright, where she claims that her father sexually abused her and just like a lot of dark shit. But here's a minute of the trailer with two of the alleged victims of Armie Hammer. It starts out with one of them reading a text.
Yeah, Hammer time.
Don't hurt him.
Hammer.
Mm-hmm.
Reading a text allegedly from Armie Hammer.
I have a fantasy about having someone prove their love and devotion and tying them up in a public place at night and making their body free use and seeing if they will strangers for me.
My bet was going to involve showing up at your place and completely tying you up and incapacitating you and then being able to do whatever I wanted to every single hole in your body until I was done with you.
Sounds polite.
In the beginning, I felt like this was all perfect. This was amazing.
He would say things, God, you're so perfect.
How could you be this beautiful, this smart, so funny?
It's like you were made for me.
But then things changed. He pushes your boundaries a little bit at a time. You're his, completely.
These are messages that are being sent literally within seconds of each other.
I mean, he said, I'm 100% a cannibal. I'm freaking out.
It was all he wanted to ever talk about.
Then I get a note that says I'm
gonna bite the fuck out of you. And and then it goes on to say, like, the family was Casey, the aunt, says, think of Succession, for anyone who's watched Succession, that times a million in terms of just like legacy power.
They're rich, right?
Yeah, they're oil tycoons.
Something, not the Armie Hammer
No.
thing, but something.
But the
something
grandfather's name is Armin Hammer.
Right. Yeah. Wow.
That's what he's named after. So I'm very looking forward to seeing this.
Well, I haven't
crazy.
used this phrase in a while, but it's perfect. It takes all kinds.
There you go.
That's what they used to say when we didn't understand what people were up to.
Or as my mom says, that's why there's 31 flavors of ice cream.
Yeah.
I like her version.
Now I would argue, that stuff was pretty gripping and damning. The music,
unnecessary.
If you put wacky sax underneath that from Benny Hill.
Who knows, like he's so objectively good looking and possibly has been in the bubble his entire life, coddled and catered to and given whatever he wants and looks so handsome that you're like we've talked about, your pleasure centers get burnt out and you have to go to the next crazy thing to like feel something.
Well, yeah, it's a Richard Gere hamster theory. But I don't know where you guys come down, but I would say you get assigned sexual proclivities and interests and things like that. You just get assigned those either at birth or when you're 13 or whatever it is. And
yeah, it's those first formative years, right, where you're going to be either twisted or set upon a straight and narrow path.
But there is a version of twisting someone's sexuality. Yes. There's also just a certain amount of dudes who like other dudes. That's just where you're at. You're 13, you're a dude, and you like other dudes. Now, that would have been life-destroying in many other times. It is life-destroying in many cultures. Mm-hmm. So you would have a difficult time in the Middle East if this is what you were discovering about yourself, and you could get killed because of it, but you like dudes. And I would imagine if you're in the Middle East and you had an older uncle or dad, he might tell you to knock it off. You're going to get killed. But I'll bet you those dudes still find other dudes and hook up with those dudes, and both dudes could be put in a burlap sack and thrown off of a roof. There's ass dudes, there's boob dudes, there's eye dudes. I don't trust them. They like looking at people's eyes. There's just dudes. Like, how do you distinguish between the boob dude and the ass dude, and who made them, and what societal pressure? Oh, my grandpappy was an ass man. It's just, there's a thing that sets in. Yeah. And I'm starting to think of pedophilia being that way, even though it can be created in the lab because you were abused. Right. But whatever Armie's got, I feel like
that's in the DNA.
What? For the grace of God, we could have gone that way, too. I could have had a hankering for a hunk of flesh at some point. Yeah, it's kind of fun, though.
Wait, is that the new hunk of cheese guy?
It's just like we talk about, we talk about the guys that just can't be satiated. You know the guys are like, on his honeymoon night, after he laid down with his bride, he went out and got a prostitute. You know, it's like... And then at some point they get busted, and at some point they're on TMZ, and at some point they lose their marriage and their job or whatever.
Well, and that's addiction, right?
Yeah, it's just like we did kind of do that with addiction. We went, look, it's a genetic thing. It's a disease. You know, we say knock it off. You know, just stop at 2 drinks. Right. Why do you have to have a third? But that's us. Right. That's not the addicted. Right. You know what I mean? And hey, Armie, knock it off. Or hey, guy in the Middle East.
Right.
Quit yearning for chode, you know? But I don't know. Maybe we're oversimplifying it, and maybe we're also kind of doing, you know, what Linda Hamilton did with us about food. Like, well, just stop eating.
Just don't eat as much.
Yeah,
hated that.
Have some stream water and go to bed. It's like, that's not what we do. We sit around and think about food all day.
Yeah. Speaking of oversimplifying, I should mention that when I said you'd be twisted in those first years as opposed to being put down a narrow path, I wasn't talking about being gay. I was talking about wanting to eat people's ribs.
Yes.
Lest anyone think I was.
But how much different is...
You said straight.
Whatever it is you want sexually, you know, if that's what's in you. And could you... as a boob man, go to prison and be talked out of it after 11 years and then released, and you just go, you know, they do that thing where it's, he went right back to doing what he was doing. Yeah, that's what he wants to do.
And that's the thing. It's like, I understand like 12-step programs and all that. And, you know, if you're sober for 35 years, you still say like, I'm an alcoholic, you know. But when Armie Hammer goes to rehab because he wants to like eat people and fuck them, I don't know. Can you change that in 2 months?
They're gonna have to go Clockwork Orange on his ass.
Yeah,
you know, keep his eyes open. Some horrific images.
Get boner.
I argue that kind of stuff that's off the beaten path is harder to eradicate because it's so powerful and so deep. And I'm imagining it probably just like the 19-year-old boy in the Middle East. He probably wishes he wasn't gay.
Of course.
So
you could go along to get along.
Here we are.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's an exchange program, because I do wish I was gay. Fucking me and Joel McHale just take off.
Into the sunset.
Start a new life, you know what I mean? Dual income, you know.
And how?
Yeah.
Lots of that.
You can get him a permit.
Holding permits, getting
permit. He can give me a perm. I'll give him a permit. Yeah.
You pull his permit, he pulls.
Better life.
Yeah.
My pud. All right, let's bring it home. Pud pulling. Do you remember pud pulling from beating off?
Yeah, of course.
Pull your
in there
pud.
pulling his pud.
That's right.
Is that like pocket pool?
No, it's just jacking off.
It's just jacking off. Good old fashioned jacking off. But
Tugging on your pud.
They call it pulling your pud.
Remember what you guys enlightened me to years ago? That you would yell at dudes. Can't say it.
Pud whacker was the term.
Are you something off with yourself? I can't say it.
Oh, God.
Fagging off with yourself.
Oh, fagging off with yourself. Yeah, that was the whole thing.
That was probably before my time.
I had never heard that term before.
I don't think I'd heard that before.
Oh,
Mr.
yeah.
Carolla introduced it to my life.
Yeah, that's
That
a
was
real thing.
Crazy.
And, you know, factually pretty accurate, I would say, if you just filmed it.
Okay.
You know.
Would you like me to bring it home?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news.
Uglier girls F better.
Gina. That was the news with Gina
That was hurtful,
Grad.
Chris.
I'm gonna give you a crazy bit of trivia that has no business on the show, but you mentioned Pudwhacker. There is an obscure and yet star-studded movie called Cruz. Cruz, but with I believe Ben Affleck's in it. I believe Matthew McConaughey's in it. Before they were stars, this is like circa '96, and Matt Damon, then unknown relatively, Matt Damon plays a cameo. I don't think he has any lines, and his name is Edgar Pudwhacker.
Oh, really?
Yes.
No,
That's extremely weird, but I had to unload that.
Yes, and how could a man with a brain tumor possibly access that? I say this is all just an elaborate ruse, and you're fine.
Cruz was renamed School Days if you're looking for it.
Glory Days.
Glory
Yes,
Days.
School Days, Spike Lee.
Oh, and it's back.
Yeah, that's what Adam Carolla would say. Oh, I was way off.
Way off. All right. I'm going to be in Salt Lake City, Wise Guys Comedy Club, coming up this Friday and Saturday. We'll do 2 live shows, 2 live pods, and then stand-up shows as well. You can go to adamcarolla.com for all the stuff and get the book. 8 hours and 34 minutes worth of audiobook. My longest effort, but we did not raise the price. I am Rapaport. Michael Rapaport can be found on iHeartMedia as well. And until next time, this is Adam from Michael and Gina and Bald saying mahalo.
I support reality. I support what's fair, what's right. And it certainly isn't cool, dope, fresh, or American to be able to walk into a Rite Aid and just pack your bag and not even feel scared to do that. Like, normally, back in my days, if you stole a pack of gum, like your heart should be racing.